vast majority of the buildings that will exist in 50 years already exist right now. And to have a bigger impact, we need to take the existing inefficient building stock and retrofit them, make them better.
It's ridiculous, but it happens all the time. There's so many issues that you have to think about when it comes to the natural go-to person. You think about making a building, who's liable if that building, anything happens. They try to pin it on the person.
Prison, when he left the country, the first place he went to wasn't the White House. He went to UC Irvine to go thank the students for that investment campaign, which is just the most. Because they were huge.
They had also sort of started, they were first.
Right.
Yeah.
Just incredible. So, good. So these seem like good, safe core values. What are for our more radical friends, where does it cut across?
Core values.
I mean, there is some overlap, right? All this has some overlap. Yeah. But I think sometimes the way of phrasing exactly what our values is important too.
And a lot of the time they decide that what's good for the school is not the people who make up the school, but the school's reputation, the cost of the school and stuff like that.
Issues, strategies.
Core values.
Oh
wait, no.
Would you consider this an issue?
I think the issues are supposed to go out here, right?
No, issues on the inside.
Oh. I thought
It's
that was...
Well, no, it is.
It's referring to really natural acoustic environment as well as environmental sounds created by humans. So sound design, music composition, as well as animal sounds and sounds of weather and the climate, basically.
One of the things that I like to consider in my own work in fashion is the role of design in social change, and what I want to say as a designer and how to use the products and services that I'm designing to make people who don't necessarily care, to make them, it doesn't necessarily have to matter why they're doing something as long as they are doing something. So creating garments that are so beautiful that you want to keep them forever, and that are so well made, and the material has been considered so that you can wash it less frequently, or you can have it for a long time and you actually want to care for it because you care about it, is a relationship that I really like to promote through design, and is a personal goal of mine, and that's a lot of what I consider in my work.
Because as designers, we can create an experience for someone where they don't even realize they're being promoted to be sustainable or be green, and that's, obviously we want people to realize it, but it's also a really powerful thing to really think about how people use things and how people engage with the world, and looking at those habits and then designing around them, rather than just, putting signs up everywhere that say recycle. Children's wear she's working on a project where children's wear is made out of their parents' worn out clothing. So projects like that are really
awesome.
Yeah.
It's really she's focusing on Wall Street businessmen basically making.
Yeah, New York, New Jersey Harbor Estuary Program is doing oyster reef restoration at Soundview Park in the Bronx, and actually did some aerial mapping of that, and you can see the reefs in the water there. It's real shallow. So they're trying to do that, and they're trying to bring the oyster grass back so that it can, be used as one to help filter water that comes in and out of the Bronx River, but also then to impact the park and make the park more usable and then more resilient to storm surge and stuff. So there's a great map. If you look, I'll give you my email address. You can email me. But there's a great map that has historic aerial photos of New York City.
Industrial.
Yeah.
I had a comment about waterfront, waterfront access,
And so I think it spans from approximately, I want to say 14 down to the Brooklyn Bridge. And there's several green initiatives in it, and I wanted to try and look at it, but because it's still just this plan and it's not really developed yet. But I did very, very little research about it, but it's all kind of bettering the accessibility to this kind of waterfront within that area. And so that would completely change around this map.
One thing I forgot to say is also when you click on our map, you get the water testing results at certain sites. But that would be a beach, and that there's a ton of public housing right north of the bridge, and also Pier 42, which is just south of the Williamsburg Bridge, and is where the Lower East Side Ecology Center is just up from there. That's another proposed site for actually human-powered launch. And that's right next to all the public housing too. So hopefully in the future, this is also Stuyvesant Cove, another proposed place, but that's up north of 14th Street. I think that's 23rd, so it's not the public housing. But
well, I mean, we are a global community now, so I think that it's hard to like address these really very local issues, which are also related to the huge macro issue of like, well, Russia, they just outlawed, for example, GMO'd foods, but like, somewhere else is using either the same product or, contributing again, So it's hard to figure out how do you go from the global to the local. Still trying to figure that out.
Maybe when the buyer, the eater, knows the grower, there's more trust there that they're not, they know what went into it.
soil saver,
I don't know, something like that. You're right. I just got this present one. I heard the same
Really natural, which is great. It was organic. Yeah. Oh, great. Material use. That's what I'm going to put mine up on.
There was nothing.
And then I couldn't, pick up on
That was a couple.